Hello, I'm Iris from iris-impressions.com and welcome to Art Supply Junkie, a series of videos and blog posts in which I share with you my favorite art supplies, and I tell you a bit more about why I like them, what you can do with them, and how I use them. Welcome to a new episode, if I can call it that, of Art Supply Junkie. Today I will be discussing a gel printing plate or a jelly plate. Last week we discussed fluid acrylics, and next week we will discuss, what will we discuss next week? Brayers, that'll be good. So today the jelly plate. So we got the jelly plate that's made by Gelli Arts, which I've got the 8x10 plate. It's quite a good size. But fear not, if you cannot afford to buy that, you can also make your own jelly plates, which I have done. Look, they look totally amateur, but they work really well. So yeah, that's one of the things I love about it. It's just, I use these, use the big plate for pulling big prints. Let me just show. Like, for example, like on paper like this, I pull these prints, and then they lie around for ages and I don't do anything with them. But the smaller plates that I made myself, I tend to use those in my journals because they're quite small and they're quite sticky, so they stick to my hand and I plop them in my journal. And I think it's just a great way of just instantly adding interesting texture to your artwork or to your pages. I often start a first layer with a jelly print, which just kind of gets rid of that blank page, and it just immediately adds interest. And generally doing the jelly printing is a really, really fun process because no one print is the same, and there's so many different things that you can try. There's just looking around the house going, oh well, look through the kitchen drawer, like, what can I put on my jelly plate? So that's one of the exciting things about it. And also, side note, it is really good to do with kids. I have been doing this with my 3-year-old, and he loves like rolling the brayer over the plate and then like putting the paper down and pulling it off and seeing what happens. So that is a pro parenting tip. Try jelly printing with your kids. What else can I say about the jelly plate? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so I mean, I might consider getting an official smaller jelly plate as well, because I do use it mostly in my journal. But the homemade plates work really well, and you can actually put the homemade plates back into the microwave and blitz them if they have started to fall apart, or if you want to make them into a different shape. And as you saw, this one I did in a DVD spindle case, so it's round, which is actually, I really like that, to have something slightly different. And I think Gelli Arts, they sell a round one as well, but you can make it yourself. So yeah, and oh, one more thing. What is really fun is jelly printing on tissue paper, and it's such a nice effect. I shall show you. I did this. Oh, sorry, I'm now off camera, obviously. Oh, there we go. All right. So this is a piece of watercolor paper which I used matte medium to put jelly prints on that I printed on tissue paper. Pattern paper. It's called pattern paper, like the type of paper that you can draw patterns on, like clothing patterns on. And it literally looks as if I have bought a bunch of napkins and then put them on. So I really like the fact that you can do that yourself, because with the tissue paper, the paint really goes into the paper. It doesn't really lie on top, and because the tissue paper is so thin, when you adhere it to the watercolor paper, it just kind of almost disappears. It's lovely. So try that one. I guarantee you'll like that. So Yeah, that's the Gelli printing plate. I would love to know whether you've got one, whether you've got a homemade one or a store-bought one, and tell me what you think and what type of art you make with it. And then next week we will be discussing brayers, because who doesn't love talking about brayers?